Hi everybody, welcome to Chef Chip in Action. Today we're going to do a simple stir fry. Hopefully it's going to go nice and easy. One thing I'm no good at is telling you measurements, so I kind of eyeball things. Hopefully you'll be able to just go the same way. If you need specifics, don't be afraid to send me a message or tweet me or something, and we'll get you the stuff you need. So, to do this stir fry, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to make a little sauce for it, and to do that we're going to use a couple of nice dominant flavors that you see frequently in Asian cooking. One is ginger root, which is nice, very cheap and easy to get, and the other is garlic. I've already knocked a couple of pieces of garlic off of the big lump there, and got a little bit more right here. Okay, so first things first, with ginger, looks kind of ugly, you don't really know what you would do with such a thing. You got to peel it. So for that, you need a peeler, which is right here. Here we go. Okay. So you're going to just go ahead and rinse the ginger off. Take your peeler, regular, everybody's got a peeler, and just, sorry, my accomplice is in the way there, furry accomplice. Just go ahead and peel the ginger best you can. And it's a root, so, and it grows in these big chunks, you know, and you can just rip off a little bit when you need it. You don't need a whole lot. And gives it a nice flavor. So there you go, that's a nice little chunk of ginger. Save that for later. Now, we're going to use this ginger to help flavor the sauce, which will ultimately be a lot of the flavor of the stir fry itself. So we're going to just give it a good swift chop. To do that, we're going to take a knife. Chef's knife is fine, Santoku, anything like that. Make sure your grip is good. So you're not gripping anything like this. If I ever see a finger on the blade like that, I will find you, and it's not going to go well for you. Pinch the back of the blade like that. See? The knife should balance on your finger like that, and you should feel comfortable with it. Most of the weight's on the blade. The handle's just there for you to rest your hand on. Keep your tip down and just go ahead and slice the ginger up nice and easy. Keep your knuckles curled over if you're a little worried about that blade. There you go. And then we're going for consistency of shape. When we cut stuff, it'll make it all cook evenly and together, so we'll go back through it this way. Alright, there we go. Got our ginger. We'll go ahead and throw that in the bowl there. Now, the next flavor we're going to use is garlic. You see a lot of that. Here's the neat trick you can do with garlic. It's kind of a pain to peel it. You can buy the minced stuff in a jar, that's fine. Take your knife, put it flat on the garlic, give it a little whack. It'll crack the peel and kind of squish the garlic a little bit, and that should, usually, make it easy to get out of there. This one's not cooperating. There it goes. There you go. Little piece of garlic there. And this one will eventually work too. Good. And we're going to go ahead and do that with a little bit more garlic. Got our peeled garlic here. You can kind of smash it if you want. It helps to make it a little easier to deal with. We're going to do a rough cut through this as well. Nothing all that fancy. We just want it to start to release the flavor. People are a little scared of garlic sometimes because it's a little bit labor intensive, what with peeling it and all, but you know, don't worry about it. Garlic is a really great flavor. It's cheap, it's easy, and pretty much everybody I know likes it. So just go ahead and get a little chop there. And that's that. Go ahead and take our garlic, add that with our ginger into the bowl. Now, we went over this once before, but if you want to get that garlic smell off of your hands, the simplest way to do it is you got stainless steel all around you in the kitchen. The sink is perfect. Rub your hands on the stainless steel, and it will take the smell away. Of course, your sink isn't the cleanest thing. You should be washing your hands constantly anyway. good to go. Now, for the sauce, the next thing that we want to do is make it into a sauce. All it is some chopped up stuff. So we've got some light soy sauce. People are concerned about sodium. This has plenty of flavor. You don't need, to kill yourself with it. Just enough. Alright. And then we're going to throw in just a dash of this. This is rice wine vinegar. You can get it anywhere, giant. Just a little bit, just enough. It's going to help add a little acid to what we're doing. And then depending on your preference, I like a little bit of red pepper. Just regular old crushed red pepper. And finally, the most important thing should be in all the stuff you do is salt and pepper. I have it in this neat little contraption here. So we'll go with a couple of shots of pepper and a little bit of salt. If you're really worried about salt, you can kind of go easy on it, but don't leave it out. Never leave out salt. It's really important. Take your whisk. Just go ahead and combine it all together a little bit. Alright, and we'll go ahead and set that aside for a little bit later. Now the next thing with the stir fry is we're going to need vegetables. The thing about cooking at home is you don't have a lot of access to multiples of cutting boards, pots, utensils, things like that. So it's good to go in order and not cross-contaminate. So right now we're going to cut up vegetables, and even though they're going to get used in the cooked product, we're going to keep them separate from any of the meat. So if you're going to cut meat and vegetables, and you've only got one cutting board, cut the vegetables first. So the first thing we're going to start with is pepper, green pepper. I have just, like a half a pepper here. We're looking for consistency and shape. For this stir fry, we're looking for things that are kind of long and thin. So the easiest way to get that with the pepper is to just cut it long and thin. And you can just go right through it. Now if you want to, shape up the edges or maybe make them a little bit shorter, there you go. And that'll do. And so that's pepper. Okay, the next vegetable we're going to use is celery. Celery's good. It's got nice flavor. It's easy to work with. So we're going to go ahead and use a little bit of that. The same thing we were doing for the pepper we're going to want to do for the celery. But it's nice because you can set the lengths kind of ahead of time. So just go ahead and measure it out like that. Whatever you're not going to use, you can just kind of hold to the side, maybe throw it in a salad. Do whatever you want. So we've got our little bricks of celery. And then celery, you can just slice it. It's one of the easiest things. If you want to practice your knife skills, celery is a good one to use, as are carrots. Because they're stiff, they hold up well. So we just get nice, long, thin strips. We're looking for a uniform thickness because they're all going to cook the same way, at about the same rate. So that would be celery. Alright, so we've got celery. The next thing we're going to move on to is some onions. People have a lot of different opinions about a lot of different kinds of onions. I'm a fan of red onions because they're a little sweeter, they're a little more mild. If you're not a big onion fan, this is a good place to start, and they don't make you cry as much. Another thing I'm a fan of are shallots. Shallots are like little tiny onions. You only need a little bit of a shallot to make a difference. So we're just going to use this shallot here. And we're going to do a little bit different with this because we really want some flavor out of the shallot. So the first thing we'll do after we've peeled it, of course, peeled it and washed it, if you split it down the middle, it'll lay nice and flat. And you just want to get nice, thin slices out of it. And you can discard the tips. You don't really need that. And these nice, thin pieces are going to kind of melt as we cook. So they're going to impart some nice flavor as we go. Now for the onion, you don't need a whole onion obviously, so I like to just cut it out in wedges, and you can use it as you see necessary, so we're going for long and thin strips and just a couple of quick slices. Now the onion will separate, and that's great when we're cooking. That's one less cut we gotta make. So that saves us a lot of time. The onion goes in the bowl. The rest of the onion, you can put it in a bag or something, save it for later. It's all good. Okay, now we're going to do the meat. So I've got some chicken breast here, boneless, skinless. Everybody loves that nowadays. So I defrosted it. It cooked a little bit, but got some of the grease out, so that's nice. We're doing our meat last, so we can contaminate the cutting board all we want. We're looking, again, for that uniform shape. So we want thin strips. They're going to cook nicely. You know? There you go, a little strip of chicken. So that they'll all cook kind of at the same rate. If you get some of the longer ones, you know, you can just slice them in half if you think that they're a little bit too long. So just go lengthwise down the old chicken breast there. That one's a little bit long and maybe a little wide, so you can just split it. Good to go.